I'm going to tell you the story about why we're building the world's first VR medical school. So what's the story? When I was in medical school, I remember hearing over and over again, go to the clinics, go up onto the ward. It's the best way to learn clinical medicine. One day, when I was having a particularly unproductive time on the ward, if you hadn't shown up, the doctor needed to make some calls, and I was sitting there pondering. And a thought came to me, I guess these clinics aren't really made for learning, which is pretty obvious. They're meant for caring for patients.
I think you're overthinking it.
I think you're underthinking it.
What if you had a hospital that was designed entirely for teaching you medicine? For example, if you came into clinic, the patient that you saw was there because you needed to learn about that particular pathology. Or if the clinic was automatically tracking all of your results so it knew what you were good at and bad at and could present you with scenarios that would challenge you. What could we all be? And how much human potential is being kind of left on the table? This is what MedValley is striving to become. The world's greatest platform for learning medicine. We've already built a really great foundation so that you can go into the VR headset, practice histories, physical exams, and procedures, and we're providing this entirely free to you. In exchange, we ask that you contribute financially to our Patreon subscriptions. By becoming a Patreon, you get to directly shape the future of medical education. Every Patreon directly supports a developer. More features, more cases, more patients, all of those things for you. You'll get direct access to exclusive content and our development team to shape the way the game is made. We really want you, the individuals who are interested in medical education, to be the ones to contribute and shape this. Because imagine if the medical schools get a hold of it. They would start day one off with a 3-hour lecture in VR. We want less hoops to jump through, more hands-on experience, and maybe even fun.
And the American Journal of Medicine has found that laughter increases secretion of catecholamines and endorphins.
It doesn't matter if you're a medical student or not. If you're someone that wants doctors to have more practice before they practice on you, then this is a good cause. So contribute and share this with someone else that is either interested in the education space, the medical space, or tech. Right now, I'll tell you a little bit more about MedValley and where it's currently at. You can enter a VR clinic where we have our virtual patients, and these are in the format for clinical exams. And so you walk into a room to examine a patient, and you can perform over 140 unique clinical interactions. Again, things like stethoscope, blood pressure checking, feeling pulses, where it vibrates in your controller, palpating, percussing, all of those things that doctors typically do in clinics. The majority of them can be done on these virtual patients in virtual reality, which is great. There's so much that we want to do with MedValley with your support. We want to have this to be a great relationship where we build what you want. And it kind of sounds cheesy, but if you've been through any medical school, you know that a large number of the tasks you have to perform are actually just hoops that you need to jump through that, don't have a ton of bearing on what you'll actually do as a doctor one day.
Thank you all for coming to Tribal Council.
And so we want to flip that on its head so that you're doing from day one the tasks that are really meaningful and important. And we reduce as much friction as possible. And so that all of the boxes that need to be checked and the assessments, all of that's happening automatically within the system. And it leaves you in an environment where there's less friction stopping you from becoming the doctor that you want to become.